Argentina are through as well, but they were pushed all the way by Switzerland. It was a valiant effort from the Swiss. In the end, it was a 3-1 loss, though. But this came as no surprise to our Switzerland superfan, Stevie Nicol, who's been behind them all the way.
The bigger sides, you're not too concerned about either Switzerland or Canada.
I think you'd be slightly more concerned about Switzerland. Nobody really wants to play them because
I think you don't mind. Do you compare to other options?
I'm just
This
saying...
is a team that couldn't beat Qatar. And here, look, it wasn't that brilliant.
All right, they're
again.
garbage. They're absolute rubbish, you're right. Who cares?
I mean,
who they play.
It'd be a good game with England.
I don't know why are you sulking? Why are you getting all sulky about it? I'm just saying. Look, what have you seen from Switzerland that's made you go, ooh? You said no one wants to face them. You said no one wants to face them.
I never said anything because you never gave me a chance.
All right, sorry.
Because as soon as I said, nobody went, oh, you're... What, so who's going to be scared of them?
Right.
They're a team that just stick there. They're always in it. They're all... Well, look at the face. What are you making a face for? You just told they always get out of the group, and they're a team that could surprise somebody else.
Really?
One of the... Aye.
Can I go? Can I go?
Aye.
I'm enjoying this.
How many games does Dan play for England?
He must have had loads.
Why was he kept on
them all?
Why did he keep on talking over you all the time as if he knows more than you?
Because that's what he does.
But he always bites as well. You were right here, Stevie.
I didn't know he plays in 3 World Cups, Dan Thomas.
I can't tell you what I texted him, but I can assure you, when Ndoye put the ball in the back of the net, I was on the tip. I was giving it large.
Of course you were. I tell you what, though, Switzerland looked Argentina dead in the eye, didn't they?
Do you know what? I don't wish to throw any more mud on the guy, but if Mbolo doesn't get sent off, Switzerland could be through.
They were in the ascendancy when they equalised.
Switzerland could have been
They were the team who were going forward, and then that moment just changed the whole trajectory of the game. And it was really quite sad, actually, the fact that they've lost to that, you know, because they were on the up, really.
Yeah, that moment, a second yellow, brings in the mistaken identity protocol here. A second yellow for simulation that Mbolo got in the end. Where are you on this whole situation?
So Granit Xhaka and some of the Swiss players have spoken about it, and they said, like, the rules are the rules, but you wish the referee would have been able to make a different decision because it basically ends a tie. As Micah said, like, it almost felt sad after that because the game completely changed. Whereas you had these two teams going toe-to-toe, all of a sudden it's like, well, Argentina are probably just going to score at some point. And it's disappointing. And to be honest as well, like, the tears from Mbolo and all this stuff, the reason I feel bad for him is because in that game, I felt like he was being, like, manhandled to that point from the centre-halves, midfielders, everything and so on. Then all of a sudden there's a foul. So, it's obviously a foul. But from when the referee puts his finger to his ear, you're thinking, what's going on here? And for it to be that way, like, I'm watching him, I'm like, why has he dived there? Why has he dived? I don't understand. I really do not understand why he did that. And it looked really dramatic as well. He's gone away from goal to win a free kick out wide.
It was Paredes again, wasn't it? Because previously...
Kicked him 10 times,
Previously the two of them had a couple of challenges. And obviously that's where he got his first yellow. And so he's done it to try and get back at Paredes.
Yeah.
And listen, I understand Granit Xhaka and the rest of them, but you can't say rules are rules, and then when the guy breaks the rules and gets sent off, what you're looking for them to change the rules?
No. They started by accepting it. They were talking more so from like a footballing spirit standpoint. Yeah.
My own personal view is that I just hate VAR, and the fact that they are now re-reffing free kicks. I mean, the Lisandro Martinez one against Egypt, of course, he stands on his foot, but that shouldn't have disallowed the goal. There's more contact in every corner that everybody leaves alone every single game, every week that you watch. You know, whether it's the hydration breaks now, which is happening, whether it's this new rule from Mbolo where the referees have seen the incidents, have done what they've done, and now VAR's bloody getting involved
here for
again.
A long time.
The sooner we get rid of it, the corners it's happening, there'll be throw-ins next to when the VAR will be getting involved.
On this particular one,
just a disaster.
Because I get it, like there are lots of people who are like VAR, like abolish. They should just want to just get rid of it. Yeah, I get it, fine. But for me, the thing yesterday, the issue is the rule that they've created and the fact that the referee was basically tied in a knot because this is what he had to do.
Had to do, yeah.
If there's a way whereby it isn't a guaranteed yellow card the other way, then he can maybe manage the situation better because the VAR stuff is not going to go away. In our lifetimes, it will not go away.
It's just going to get worse, though. That's the problem.
But based on things like this, you'd hope that particular thing would get better because they've seen how it's been implemented. Now we've got one of those decisions where everybody's looking at it like, I suppose that's a red card, but it brings like a level of like sadness because that's what the game has become. I think if you change the rule, but you allow VAR to look at it still, I think it changes.
Yeah, the only problem is this is not the last rule that will change. They will change another rule and then another rule. As I said, now the corners have come in. Oh, it wasn't a corner now. And then it'll be a throw-in because you can throw the ball into the penalty area. That'll change soon. Oh, it wasn't our ball, it was their ball. And they'll just suddenly start getting involved in every decision. You know, why can't the referee see that and make a mistake and just carry on? Pereira's got a yellow card. So what? But no, it goes to this. Then we've got the snicko. Then we've got the ball, which isn't a snicko. It's just...
I get what you're saying, but we're kind of opening a can of worms.
Yeah.
You know, if Paredes had previously had a yellow and then he got another one because Embolo dives, then he shouldn't be sent off.
Yeah.
Or what if Paredes was on a yellow and if he gets another one in this game, he misses the semi-final of the World Cup? So some guy who wants to dive is going to cost somebody else a game in the semi-final of the World Cup. So we're kind of opening a can of worms.
Yeah, but that's always happened, hasn't it? It's always happened.
It also gets to people saying, oh, Argentina are getting the calls. But when you do look at the calls, most of the time we're seeing that the calls are correct, whether you like it or not, by the letter of the law. And you are seeing that that's the way it is. You're
only by the letter of the law.
Only by the letter of the law.
They're just new laws that are made up, aren't they?
But they are there,
that's the problem.
and they are in place. And so some people are criticising Argentina, but at the end of the day, that they may be getting some luck, but they are still fighting and refusing to be eliminated, even if it gets to extra time that they're getting forced to. They're still not giving up. And it's not just because calls have gone their way, surely.
Oh, no, I'm not interested in the calls. It's just my personal view that I hate them. It doesn't matter that it was Argentina. I've got no problem with that. They knuckle down, they work hard. You know, they got the little bit of advantage. But the main thing is that they won the game and got through. I've got no problem with Argentina getting through. It's not necessarily the team. It's the VAR and the decision-making. I'm not having to go against Argentina. They got through. They're rightly there. It's going to be a hard game for England. But when you see the way Argentina play, you feel as if they're very vulnerable as well, aren't they? They rely on one man. They've got no real width. They don't like to cross the ball because of the size. So there's aspects there where England can really play on and think, right, there's a weakness there that Tagliafico or Nico Gonzalez, when he came on, Molina doesn't like to get too far wide. Messi likes to, drift out and come in on his left foot. So there's issues there where England should really zone in on them, try and make the most of it. And I'm fairly confident in England getting a result against them. But Argentina, like England, haven't been at their best, but have done everything they can to get to this final, to get to the semi-final. So fair play to them.
Why are they making it so difficult for themselves, though, with this Argentina team, do you think? Because many would say this has been an easier path for them, at least on paper, that's the way that it looked. And yet they seem to be making hard work of it, even though they're getting it done.
Yeah, to be fair, looking at all those teams there, you would have fancied Argentina to look a lot better. This is the best.
They've not played anyone in the top 15 FIFA rankings.
Yeah. I think this is obviously the team that's like the #1 team in South America, the reigning champions and so on. And it has looked really poor. Not necessarily the Switzerland game yesterday, but the 2 games prior. But I think in some ways, you've seen some of the weaknesses that they have, whether it's a case of, say, the way that Egypt or Cape Verde would try and hit them in transition with the speed that they have, the directness, some of the vulnerabilities they have at the back, the fact that in some games, they are probably the most narrow side I've ever seen at a World Cup.
Yeah.
You can see a way to play against that. So I think it puts them in a tough situation. But, in some ways, like, they deserve credit for finding ways to come back. They definitely do. And in terms of decision-making, there's obviously this case like there's a bias in favour of Messi and so on and so forth. The only 2 things that I disagree with, I thought Messi potentially should have gotten a red card earlier in the tournament where there was no yellow card given at all. And I would have been okay if that Egypt goal would have stood when they said there was a foul on Sandro Martinez 100 yards away from the goal itself. But for the rest of it, they've shown incredible fighting spirit. Scaloni says himself, this team is like, we are fighters. This is who we are. And you can see that in how they play. The downside for them, it means that they're almost left to having moments as opposed to, say, general play. And that's, I think, the point that really summed up for me when you were speaking earlier. This draw is 2 completely different sides on either side of it. You've got England and you've got Argentina who are almost relying on moments because performances haven't been great. But then you've got like the totality of like a France and a Spain on the other side. And you can see how they got to the position they're in. Whereas for these, there's a reliance on somebody finding something in a key moment.
Speaking of moments, Julian Alvarez popping up right at the right time when it hasn't been the easiest tournaments for him. On the day that Messi doesn't score, gets an assist. But on the day that he doesn't, Julian Alvarez pops up and makes the difference with a moment of magic.
Well, he just proves the point that it's not just about Messi. They do have 2 or 3 others. And Julian Alvarez is absolutely one of those guys who can pull something else out. You know, we had that Argentina side up. You look at the names on paper, that doesn't blow you away.
No, not at all.
So in some ways, they're kind of the England of South America, because for some reason, everybody's expecting them to be Brazil of the 1970s. I mean, and they're not. That's not where they are. So yeah, they find a way of getting it done, and they can actually, again, they can beat England by doing exactly the same thing, and they can beat France or Spain by doing exactly the same thing as well.
The England of South America. I bet you'd still be going for Argentina, though, even if they are the England of South America.
I sure will.
Jürgen, what have you made of Argentina in this tournament so far?
Well, it has also been a very kind of dramatic path for Argentina in the last World Cup when they won it and they grew into the tournament. Last World Cup, they lost the first game against Saudi Arabia. Then it was almost knocked out by Mexico in the next game if it wasn't for Messi. So there were some similar performances of Argentina already in the last World Cup where they won it. Now, obviously, it's not the most perfect, performance so far from that team, but they have a grit, they have an aggressiveness in themselves, they have a desire to turn things around, and it seems like they have a fantastic team spirit. And with that, you can hurt almost all of the teams. And they know England is not perfect, and they know themselves that they are not perfect either. I mean, the fact that obviously, you feel sad, as Needham said, for Switzerland, because they played brilliantly. They gave everything they had, and then this incident with Embolo breaks their neck in a certain way. But still, Argentina then in extra time, they kept going, and then with the Julian Alvarez is fantastic and one of the most beautiful goals of the World Cup, they decide the game to their favor. Going into the next game, you have to highly respect them. You have to really do your homework, which England will do, and it will be a nail biter. It will be a nail biter for both teams, for both countries. And obviously the history of Argentina and England, we all know about it off the field as well. So this will be an incredible, tense and nervous game.